Alrighty, so it's been a minute since I've done a tier list, and today we are just kind of going down the list. I had a subscriber say they wanted to see a banner unit tier list, so today here we are. So I take it that most of you probably don't know every unit on, if you look at the tabs, you could probably tell who some of these units are, but again, I don't think you're going to be able to just tell exactly who all these guys are just by kind of looking, right? In this video, like I said, we'll be breaking down 10-1 for the banner units in the game right now. Now, full disclosure, these ones, like I said, are very tough to rank because we're talking about, like, not the upper echelon of units, right? We're not talking about Dokkan Fest LRs, we're not talking about summonable LRs, we're talking about basically premium pool units that you could summon whenever, units that, you know, the game tends to kind of stray away from giving the best kits in the world, and honestly, I think when they make one of these guys good, they're either super limited or it's just a mistake, right? Because I feel like the overall concept of banner units, and again, this is all just from my opinion, so don't take this like as a fact, but I feel like the psychology of a banner unit is they don't want you to feel like you've like won the banner by pulling the banner unit, right? They want you to keep going because you pulled the featured unit, but it's like the worst one on the banner because it's like in a place with TURs, the summonable LRs. When you pull this like crappy non-Dokkan Fest TUR, it tends to be something that is not useful. So again, take all of this with, I'm ranking units that are not going to be in that top tier, but some of them do have their uses, and that is what we are going to be talking about today. So coming in at my number 10 spot, I have Raccoon and Goldo. These guys came out in March of 2022. You guys can see March 3rd, right after the 7-year anniversary ended. So, you know, coming right out of the peak of hype in Dokkan, really, it's just the 7th-year anniversary was a movie, and you know, that Dokkan Fest coming out of that was just phenomenal. You know, Captain Ginyu and Raccoon and Goldo, Jason Birder. Jason Birder did not make the cut, but they are still a very like solid unit, right? The Ginyu Force team, these guys are all mainstays on it. So, looking at what Raccoon and Goldo do, they raise attack on defense on super, and they also greatly lower attack and defense to the enemy, right? So again, when Super Battle Road, these guys are literally like, when you talk about a banner unit for Super Battle Road, these guys are literally doing everything. They're guarding, they're raising their attack and defense on super, they're lowering the enemy attack and defense on super, and they're also sealing and have a chance to stun, right? They have the high chance of guarding, and then they have a guaranteed chance to guard when you have a Ginyu around, so that's why you only really want to run them on the Ginyu team to get that guaranteed guard rather than the chance, right? So when you get more defense when the guard is activated. So, you know, you're getting an additional defense when Ginyu is around because the guard is going to be guaranteed. So again, Goldo and Ginyu, Raccoon and Goldo, solid unit. I would put them at number 10, but I really couldn't go much higher. So let's move on to number 9, who is Hachan. Now, Hachan, you could probably say he is better than some of the units on this list. I might move him. I think what I'll do is I'm actually going to put him to 8. We'll talk about him in a minute. But at number 9, I have Yajirobe. Now, at number 9 with Yajirobe, I think this guy is very good, right? He is good in, we get a massively defensive raises. I see a lot of people running this Yajirobe in high-level easy A's. Now, that is kind of a very niche content that you don't really need to do, or you don't have to do at all. You know, you're not really going to be losing anything, but like if you see what people do with like high-level easy A's, like talking about like, you know, in the 700s, the 800s, the 900s, where, you know, bosses, it's a whole new level of how hard a boss will hit when you get to that level. And it's just being able to dodge, right? We have great chance of evading enemies' attack as a floater. We have additional attack plus 150 and a great chance of performing a crit when he's a third attacker. So, you know, this is really what you're looking for because we have, and we also have support, right? Plus an additional attack and defense plus 120, and then 20% support for 3 turns and key when the character is the third to obtain key spheres in a turn. So this guy is exactly what you're looking for in a banner unit, kind of, because he is not... You don't want him in slot 1, you don't want him in slot 2, you want him floating and supporting, and he's giving 3-turn support, so that way when you see him again, it's not going to be a big issue, and stuff like that. You know, I really think that this guy is good, and the chance to dodge is also phenomenal, but the big flaw on this guy is you are relying on that dodge chance, and the unit that I have above him, obviously being Hachan, you are not relying on him. You can rely on him to comfortably take damage. So let's move on to Hachan. Now, the big flaw for me with Hachan is the fact that you do really want to run, like you are really confined to running him on the Kid Goku, the Path to Power Kid Goku team. just because that rotation is really set up well for each other, right? He has his damage reduction, he's tanky, you get the additional damage reduction coming in from Goku, Goku gets the unit super attack with this guy. You are really looking to put this guy in slot 1 for Path to Power Kid Goku, but with that being said, look at everything that he's doing, right? We have 20% damage reduction, we have 30% damage reduction coming in from with having Goku in the same turn. We get Ki plus 8, and then an additional attack and defense plus 80% after he receives an attack, for 5 turns, which is very good. And then we have an additional 30% and a basically a full heal if you get under 20% HP 5 or more turns after we've started. Now, granted, that is hard to do. Let's not like act like that's just you're just getting that for free every time you fight. Getting 20% is very hard because the way content goes these days, like I'm sure most of you who play difficult content know that a lot of fights you just go from 100 HP to 0 HP. It's not like you go from 60 HP to 20%. You know, you take that wrong super, the fight's just over most of the time. You take that AoE in the Merge Zamasu red zone, it's just a GG for you across the board. So again, this heal is hard to get, but it can absolutely bail you out if you can manage to proc it, and then you also have an invincible slot 1 unit. I think fully kind of evenly, because I have this guy at 55%, granted, and in Cell Max, one of the harder hitting bosses in the game, when this was when Cell Max was like the peak of difficulty in the game, right around when this guy, you know, had his run like right out of the worldwide celebration. We had like the Metal Cooler Core, and then we also had Cell Max. This guy could reliably tank those supers, which were very hard hitting supers. So I really like this Hachan. Again, putting him in the top 10 of so many premium pool units, or, you know, general pool units, is a compliment, so don't treat it otherwise. And let's move on to number 7, who I have is this Vegeta. Now, what makes this Vegeta better than Hachan is he is nowhere near as restricted as Hachan. He has much more appeal in terms of what's the word, like links, categories. He's not restricted to a certain name unit in the passive. We have guard for 5 turns, and then he's going to be building up with all the attacks he receives up to 200. So 200% defense, 200% attack, guard for the first 5 turns, attack plus 200%, attack and defense plus 200% at the start of turn. All allies attack and defense, and all enemies minus 20 attack for 2 turns after the character receives an attack 3 or more times. So, you know, you put him in slot 2 or slot 3, he takes 3 hits, he's giving support for the rotation, he's debuffing the enemy, he has guard, he gets a very high attack and defensive buff at the beginning of the turn and stuff like that. I think this guy is just a solid banner unit here. Also, all while considering the fact that he has a very good link set, Saiyan Warrior Race, Super Saiyan, you know, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Golden Warrior. Those are all going to work pretty well in terms, like, if we look at some of his linking partners, if I just want to show more. Looking at this one, it's not great because it's mostly Vegeta things, but if you want to look at, like, when we get down to, like, that 4 and 5 link range, where it's all, like, these Super Saiyans with Fierce Battle and Prepared for Battle and all that, you are going to be seeing the linking partners. I know this wasn't the best example here, but just you got to bear with me here that I can assure you that it's going to be looking pretty good. So that is coming in at my number 7 spot. Let's move to number 6, which is Int Pan. Now, Int Pan I did want to put higher on the list. Unfortunately, I did have to move her down a little bit after looking at just kind of like the raw intangibles of some of the units that we were looking at. I have a friend that's watching this video that is a huge Pan supporter. I put them at 1 for you, but you know, it just looking at this, I didn't want to have too many comments getting on me. So Int Pan, number 1 in our hearts, but you know, number 6 on the list. So with Int Pan, she is a good supporter for some of the best units in the game. You know, that being Int Piccolo, Trunks and Vegeta, or Int Piccolo, Tech Piccolo, Trunks and Vegeta, the 5-year fusions, anybody that fits on the superhero category, which is a very wide category, and that is very helpful, right? And then she also gives an additional, so 50% support for Bond of Parent-Child or Master to Student Bond. Bond of Parent-Child is also very good. So, like, this is a very good support unit for somebody like Trunks and Vegeta. We have dodge chance, only medium chance, which isn't great, plus an additional chance of evading when only facing 1 enemy. So, you know, that does help a bit because it is a bit of a buff for the evasion, so that is good. And then we have a launched an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super when facing 2 or more enemies. Not too many fights these days with 2 or more enemies at the start of the turn, but if you want to look at something like Super Battle Road, obviously that is very helpful, but again, not the best conditions in the world. And then plus an additional attack and defense plus 100% and a high chance of performing a crit after evading an attack. So this is somebody, like, if you want to get the most attack out of them, you want to throw them at slot 1, but you are playing a bit of a roulette in terms of you know, the dodges and stuff that you are doing, getting the additional buffs when you get the dodges and stuff like that. But she does raise attack and defense for 1 turn, then has the chance to stun as well, coming off these super attack effects. Link set isn't bad, you know, all in the family, Saiyan lineage, Infighter, Fierce Battle, nothing too bad. But one, you know, this second row right here isn't great, but these 4 links right here is a decent skeleton, you know, all, like I said, all in the family, Saiyan lineage, Infighter, Fierce Battle. The categories she's on are decent with Bond of Parent-Child, Goku family, superheroes, movie heroes. Bond of Master and Disciple is okay these days with some of the units that they've dropped, but nothing too crazy. Hybrid Saiyans and Youth could definitely use some buffs if we get like a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan or something like that. Maybe they throw him on like superheroes or something like that, who knows. But with that being said, I have Pan at 6, and let's move to number 5, which is Amin and Raisin. Now, you could probably move these guys higher, but I don't have the most experience using them, unfortunately, and I think that just kind of their team restriction alone would put them at 5. So we have support coming in for Planetary Destruction, and then additional support for channel, you know, units who belong to Space Traveling Warriors team. guards all attack and reduces damage received in slot 1, so you lock them in slot 1. They're nice and tanky, but the problem is the teams that they are with and then the links that they have, loyalty. We just want to pull up this link while we're here. This is not the best link in the world, especially considering, you have to link them with this guy. Turles isn't there, the unit that you're going to probably be running him next to. Just not the best link in the world. I'm not going to really put too much stock into loyalty. Destroy the universe, Team Turles, Thirst for Conquest, Tough as Nails. Just not the best link set in the world, and then also the categories, they are extremely limited. So I think if we're talking about like versatility and units that you could run with, I think it's Pan, but just the tankability of this unit in slot 1, I think is what's going to put them at 5, and the inexperience that I have. Just because I have the inexperience, I'm going to put Pan over them, but again, I do think that this is a solid unit, and like I said, the only reason I have them below Pan is because I have not used them. Unfortunately, I do not have them, and I'm just going off the kit. So coming in at number 4, I have Kid Krillin, coming in from Golden Week this year. This is a solid unit. This is a very good slot 1 unit, or even slot 2. Anywhere you want to put him, especially like with the World Tournament, 23rd World Tournament Goku and stuff like that. This is a solid unit right here. So we have no raises defense on Super, which is annoying, but we look at here, we have attack and defense 150, additional attack and defense plus 100% when performing a super attack, so this is a slot 2 kind of unit. World Tournament category allies, 40% support, which is very good. Key +2 and an additional attack and defense plus 100% and a high chance of performing a critical hit for 4 turns. I don't know why I said critical hit, but performing a crit for 4 turns after receiving an attack, so not bad. Damage reduction by 20%, an additional damage reduction plus 20 before attacking, so you do want to put them in slot 1, plus an additional, so up to 60% damage reduction against one enemy in slot 1. That is solid. And then we have Brainiacs, Turtle School, Infighter, Kamehameha, Incredible Adventure, Guides to the Dragon Ball's Fierce Battle. So you are really kind of looking to run this unit on like the Dragon Ball Saga, the World Tournament team, Earthbred Fighters. You are trying to run them with like Dragon Ball themed units just because of the the Incredible Adventure and Guide into the Dragon Balls links, just kind of the way that works out. But you look at the teams that this guy's on: Kamehameha, World Tournament, Earthlings, Earthbred Fighters, and stuff like that. Tournament participants too, just a very solid slot 1 unit for somebody like World Tournament Goku, who you could easily just throw in slot 1 if you needed to, for like a revival or something like that. I really think that this guy is extremely solid, and I would probably have him at number 2 or number 4. So at number 3, oldest time, but he always holds it down, boys. AGL Golden Frieza. Now, you run out of HP, you're running into a bit of a problem. But the reason I have this guy so high is because at the beginning of the fight, when it's hard, he's going to hold it down for you. The Merge Zamasu AoE, guess what? It's not touching him if he's in turn 1 where things can get ugly, right? I just think this guy, he stands the test of time. 90% damage reduction is always going to be useful in any meta of the game, any set of hard bosses. I really just don't have much to say about this guy other than he is just a tank. You can run him off leader. You can really do a lot of stuff with this guy. Again, it is a bit of a chance, of where he's, you lose that HP, but all that being said, I think this guy is just solid. Beginning of the fight, short content, hard, long content. As long as you keep that HP, you should be good. So, I almost sneezed. But coming in at number 3, Golden Frieza. He's always just an OG. He holds it down. Let's move on to number 2. You can't see it, but Chilai, our girl Chilai. Now, Chilai, is she better offensively or defensively than any of the units that we've really looked at so far? No. What does she have? Scouter. That's it. She has the Scouter. The Scouter is one of the most overpowered abilities in the game, with bosses that are hitting super hard. If there's one hit, it's a super. You know where you have to put her, right? If there's only one super, you're trusting her to dodge that super. You can see it. It's never up to chance, right? So she has a heal whenever 3 attacks have been evaded. Max of 3. You have multiple activations of it, giving 39% attack and defense. Key +3, support, dodge chance, Scouter. She holds it down. Now, number 2. Chilai. Number 1 should be fairly obvious. It's STR Piccolo. Now, I don't really feel like I need to say much about this guy other than running him on the movie Heroes, a superhero Piccolo. He's like the best friend for the best unit in the game, which is Tech Piccolo, right? In my opinion, Tech Power Awakened Piccolo is the best unit in the game. We've been saying this since he came out. Even better than the anniversary units, even better than Golden Week, even better than Tanabata, even better than the Worldwide Download Celebration, even better than Bulma. I've been saying this the whole time, right? This is not... My stance on this has not changed. You can look at any of the tier lists I've done. I believe Piccolo has always been number 1. Maybe below the GT Duo during their peak, but other than that, I've really had Tech Piccolo above, on a pedestal, basically, this whole time that he's been out, right? And this STR Piccolo is his best friend. Defensively, he's a wall. You can run him in slot 1 and hold it down for Tech Piccolo. You can take away supers with Tech Piccolo, stuff like that. I don't really think I need to go too much into why this guy is good. He is just a really good slot 1 tank for the best unit in the game when need be. You know, you can kind of switch them basing on the typing and stuff like that, but otherwise, that's all I really got for you in this one. Just to recap the list before we head on out, at number 10, I have Recruitment Goldo. At number 9, I have Tech Yajirobe. At number 8, I have AGL Hachan. At number 7, I have Tech Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta. At number 6, I have Almond and Raisin. At number 5, I have Int Pan. At number 4, I have ST Arcade Krillin. At number 3, I have AGL Golden Frieza. At number 2, I have Int Chilai. At number 1, I have STR Piccolo. So let me know what you guys think of this list down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy today's video. Subscribe if you are new, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the tier lists that I do in the future. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.